What's up everybody, it's yours truly Fitz. Welcome back to another Pokemon Go video. This time we're going to go over the best Pokemon for the Ultra League. Now if you haven't seen the best Pokemon for the Great League, link will be in the description. I go over 3 good Pokemon for every single generation, Gen 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to do that for the Ultra League. Just a disclaimer, there are a lot of good choices for both the Great League, the Ultra League, and the Master League, but I'm going to go over my personal favorites that allow me to win my battles if chosen correctly. Because it is, you know, kind of like spinning a slot machine because you don't know what your opponent's going to throw out there, but I'm going to go over the 3 best choices for each generation and then also throw in some notable mentions as well. Now the first one I'm going to mold all together. It's going to be the starters: Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise. Here's why. We're going to go ahead and go over the moves, and I'll tell you guys why they are so good. First of all the starters max out just a little bit over 2,500. So what that means is their stats, as of right now, are going to be close to max, since their CP isn't that far above 2,500. Now the moves is where everything comes into play. I told you guys about moves in the Great League video and how well they charge up. Vine Whip is better than Razor Leaf because Vine Whip has a higher energy per turn, which means you'll be charging up Frenzy Plant a lot faster. Now, charge moves do charge up at different rates as well. Frenzy Plant is one of the fastest charging moves in the game. Now, you guys are probably wondering, Fitz, how do you know this information? Where are you getting this information from? I'm glad you asked. Let's go ahead and look into it. So if you go to the Go Hub and click PvP, this will take you to our PvP stuff. And PvP move stats of Pokemon Go is what you want to go to. And if you scroll down, here you go. PvP fast moves. And you can literally just look by EPT right here. There's from 0, which is the worst, and you can click it and you can go all the way down. And as you can see, look at the quick moves here. The fastest energy per turn moves are Mudshot, Psycho Cut, and Thundershock. They will gain the most amount of energy for your charge move. But here's the kicker. If we scroll down, charge moves have the same thing, energy here. Look, Aqua Tail, Body Slam, Bone Club, and the list goes on. These moves take less energy to charge up, meaning if you use a very quick charge move with the energy per turn and pair that with a very quick charge move that charges up very fast, you've got a recipe for disaster for your team. So, going back to Frenzy Plant, look, Blast Burn. Blast Burn only has 50 energy. That's pretty low. If we go down to Frenzy Plant, which is right here, 45. And then, of course, we have Hydro Cannon right here, 40. So you got 40 Hydro Cannon, which Hydro Cannon is, you know, Blastoise's move. We've got Frenzy Plant, which is 45, and then Blast Burn, which is 50. That is why these starters are so good. So I'm just going to group them in one. The starter Pokemon are going to be good in the Ultra League. Now, there are some other Pokemon that would be pretty good as well. And if we go ahead and sort by max CP, we'll actually go down the list here. There are some very good choices as well. Scyther is pretty good with, this is a notable mention by the way, Scyther is pretty good with X-Scissor and Fury Cutter. Fury Cutter does charge up pretty fast, but Lapras. Lapras is the second most used Pokemon I think you should use. Lapras already is a tank. It maxes out just a little over 2,500. That stamina stat is nothing to mess with, and it has coverage for grass and rock as well. So if we go to the moves, this is where things get interesting. You probably want to run Water Gun, but Frost Breath is not a bad choice. I want to repeat. You probably want to run Water Gun, but Frost Breath is not a bad choice. And if you can, run Ice Beam. I do have a Legacy Lapras. If you have a Legacy Lapras, regardless of IVs, it does not matter. If you have an Ice Beam Lapras, you're in luck. If you don't, run Surf. Surf charges up very fast. Ice Beam charges up really fast. That's why I mentioned it. Dragon Pulse, you don't need it. Ice Beam takes care of that dragon coverage anyway. You don't need it. So run Surf and probably Blizzard. If you're running Water Gun and Surf, you're probably going to want Blizzard. If you're running Frost Breath and Surf, you'll probably want probably still Blizzard, honestly. Surf is the best water move coverage there is, charge move here, because it charges up very fast. So Lapras is definitely a must. I think Lapras is an absolute beast when it comes to Gen 1 Pokemon if you're trying to build your Ultra team. Now, let's go ahead and see what else will make the list. You don't want to use any of the legendaries. Let me tell you that right now. You don't. Just save them for Master League, because their stats are so dumbed down that they're not really that great. Now, notable mention, Snorlax with Lick and Body Slam. Snorlax. This one is interesting. Gonna go with Dragonite. Yes, I know it's a very, very high CP, right? But hear me out on this. I'm gonna give you guys a tip. This is a secret. Secret of the pros. If you have a Legacy Dragonite, I know this is pushing it, with Dragon Claw, you're gonna be a beast. Dragon Claw only takes 35 energy to charge up. It's absolutely absurd. And Dragon Tail. Dragon Claw is going to be ridiculous. And then for your second move, probably run Hurricane. It's very odd move to have, but probably run Hurricane. You could run Hyper Beam, but it takes a while to charge up. Now, if you're like Fitz City, I don't have a Dragonite. Do you have Latios, which I'm going to mention in Gen 3. Anything that you can use in the Ultra League that has Dragon Claw is going to rip. I'm telling you right now. It is absolutely insane. Anything with Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, or Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, you are absolutely going to destroy people. And that's actually going to be that's going to go into the Master League video as well. Dragon Claw is insane. It is such a good move. So that's why I'm throwing Dragonite in the 3 spot here for Gen 1. If you have a Dragon Claw Dragonite, it's just going to absolutely be insane. Try to trade for one if people aren't very competitive in your area. But Dragonite is nuts. Even Dragon Tail and Outrage is pretty good as well. So having a Dragon type Pokemon is actually pretty good. But if we go to Gen 2, I'm actually going to I'm actually going to go into another Dragon type Pokemon that definitely should be on your team. Now, for Alligator, notable mention, Typhlosion and Meganium. Again, for Alligator, it's coming up this month. All of these starters are always a good choice in the Ultra League. So always keep that in mind. Using the starters are always a good choice, definitely. Blissey, notable mention. You could probably win some fights with that. It's not that great, but notable mention. Crobat, another notable mention. Let's actually go ahead and look at it. This isn't going to be the main one I'm going to focus on, but the stats are pretty good, close to 2,500, and the moves are pretty good too. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys what moves you should probably run. You can run Air Slash, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball. Or run Bite, Shadow Ball, Air Cutter. Air Cutter is going to actually charge up. Oh no, I'm thinking of Aerial Ace. Excuse me. Run Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball. Bite's going to do more damage, but not charge these up as fast. Air Slash is going to do pretty good damage, but I think it's going to charge these up pretty quickly as well. They're going to charge it up pretty quickly. So Crobat is definitely a very good Pokemon to use in the Ultra League, but like I said, it's a notable mention. Now, let's go to the #1 spot, Kingdra. Kingdra's a beast. It's good in the Great League, and it is definitely good in the Ultra League. Again, near 2,500. The stats are so well rounded across the board, it's absolutely ridiculous. But let's go into the moves, because that's what matters. Probably guessed it, Dragon Breath. Without a doubt, this is the #1 move you should use with Kingdra. Dragon Breath. Nothing else. And then run Blizzard and Outrage. You're not going to use this as a water coverage Pokemon. Absolutely not. Don't do it. Blizzard and Outrage. Blizzard covers like grass types that do normal damage to you basically, and Outrage is just a heavy hitting move. That's a 2-bar charge move that you can charge up and use. This is a type of Pokemon that you would throw at the end of your party when your opponent doesn't have any more shields, because you are going to deal devastating damage if you either get an Outrage off or Blizzard. It doesn't matter. And Dragon Breath just melts. It melts people. So Kingdra, definitely a must, I think, personally, in the Ultra League. As always, as a disclaimer, as I'm telling you guys these Pokemon, you have to mold around and actually choose a team. You have to experiment to see what works for you in your community and what your fellow trainers use. Next up is Scissor. Scissor's actually insane. It's got a little bit higher CP, but its stats are pretty good. That 236 will scale nicely. It's only weak to fire, but the thing is, it has Fury Cutter, charges up moves extremely fast. Night Slash charges up extremely fast and does 50 damage. X Scissor charges up extremely fast, does 45. So as you can see, Dark, Grass, Psychic, it covers that. And then Dark will do Ghost and Psychic again. You could run Iron Head. I don't think it charges up that fast, but it is a decent choice to go up against fairy types like maybe Blissey, Ice, Rock. So it's a fun bag of stuff. Scissors, but has good stats. You definitely, without a doubt, you want to run Fury Cutter. The only thing that sucks about Fury Cutter is this: it is resisted by so many types. So that's where you can run into an issue with this Pokemon. But all in all, Scissor is pretty awesome. Now, what do you think the third Pokemon's going to be? There's some toss-ups here. I haven't really experimented too much with Gen 2. Oh gosh, yes I have. Politoed, notable mention. If you get a Legacy Politoed, I think with Blizzard, definitely a good Pokemon. Politoed is a very good Pokemon. Run Mudshot, and then Blizzard and Earthquake, if you can. One of those is a Legacy move. But Mudshot, Blizzard, Earthquake, that's what you want to run. With Politoed, it covers everything but Gramble. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how many Ultra League fights I've won with this thing. First off, it keeps those stats. I mean, come on, it's 52 CP over, it keeps those stats. It's only weak to Poison and Steel. Gramble is an absolute monster, and I haven't even fully powered mine up. Snarl gains the most energy out of the two, so run Snarl, Play Rough, and Crunch. Crunch is a 3-bar charge move, it's going to charge up really fast, and Play Rough is for that fighting or dragon coverage, which you see a lot of. And I'm going to get into that in a second. So, Granbull, it covers Hariyama. That's the issue with the Ultra League. Hariyama is a tank. Let's go ahead and go into Gen 3. So Granbull, absolutely a monster. Again, the starters are going to be a good choice, especially Sceptile with Leaf Blade. Definitely a good choice. Blaziken is actually okay. Swampert's pretty good because it has Mudshot. But let's go into the #1 spot. For me, I think personally, again, it's not. I mentioned Latios, remember, it has Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw. That's a notable mention. Metagross is pretty good, obviously, with Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash. Absolutely. Latios. Latios is actually going to come in the #1 spot. I have not tested this Pokemon yet, but it's so tanky with the defense that I have a feeling it's going to be really good. Now, it has a bunch of weaknesses, but its moves are really good. It does have access to Dragon Breath, and then it has Outrage, and you can actually do some coverage here. Now, I know what you're thinking. The second boat move, it's very expensive, but if you can afford it, we will get Latios in the future. We will get Latios in the future. You can unlock a second move. But I think Latios is definitely going to be a good choice. It's very tanky, and it doesn't max out as high a stat as its counterpart does. Yeah, look, 38-12, 35-10. Let's see. Now, going down farther here, Hariyama. Hariyama can wipe out somebody completely. Hariyama is a must, I think, in Ultra League. The stamina is 302, ladies and gentlemen. That's insane. And the attack is 209, defense is a little low, but it's weak to Fairy. That's where Granbull comes in. That's why having a Granbull on your team is definitely really good. Going to the moves, Counter is the best move in PvP. It does the most damage, and it has a really good charge time for these charge moves, so you want to run Heavy Slam and Dynamic Punch. Counter, Heavy Slam, Dynamic Punch. This Pokemon is actually really good to throw out in the beginning of a battle. Yeah, not towards the end, in the beginning. If you throw out a Hariyama first, you're probably going to throw your opponent off. So far we got Latios and Hariyama. What is going to be the third Pokemon? Now, of course, it could be a toss-up. Walrein could go in there. Flygon has Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw. That could definitely go in there. Breloom running Counter with Seed Bomb and Dynamic Punch is going to be insane, by the way. So it's really a toss-up. And with that in mind, I'm going to throw a pretty good one at you guys. Let's go with Crawdon. Yep, going to go with Crawdon. Keep in mind those notable mentions that I mentioned, though. You can max this out. That's... oh, crap. Maxing out with Fitz City. You can max this out, right? You get those stats 100%. But what about the moves? The moves are actually really good. You can run Snarl, Snarl is going to build up your charge moves a lot faster. And this is where things get interesting. Every single one of these moves charges up extremely fast. You can run Bubble Beam for water coverage, you can run Night Slash for more dark coverage, or you can run Vice Grip just to simply bait shields. Like, because it's a terrible move, right? But because you're going to get your charge move off first, you could use Vice Grip, they use a shield, they think all you have is Vice Grip, and you throw a Night Slash at them and really do some serious damage. So this Pokemon is a trick artist, basically. It has great charge moves that charge up extremely fast with a very good fast move that charges these up fast. So coming in at number 3 is going to be Crawdon. Now Gen 4, I have not done a lot of, you know, some experimentation with, but I can already tell that Staraptor is going to be a good choice because there's not very many good flying type choices in pretty much all of Pokemon Go, to be honest with you. So the stats are pretty solid for a flying type, but if we go to the moves, that's where it shines. Giving it Quick Attack actually is better. Believe it or not, giving it Quick Attack is better. Quick Attack has a higher energy per turn, and then you want to give it Brave Bird for that, you know, Hariyama coverage. If Hariyama comes out first, you throw this first, and then Heat Wave isn't bad either, or Close Combat, but definitely run Brave Bird, and then you can kind of choose what you want here. It's entirely up to you, but I do believe Staraptor would be a pretty solid Pokemon to use, definitely to counter Hariyama. Quick Attack though really does build up the energy though, absolutely. Next one, you could say Luxray. This is a notable mention with Spark and Wild Charge. Definitely a good Pokemon. I mean, it doesn't max out too high, so you're definitely getting most of those stats. Definitely a good Pokemon to use. We don't have very many Gen 4 out. That's the issue. So as we scroll through, Floatzel is nothing but a Water-type Pokemon. It doesn't have any coverage, but I guess you could say the same for Luxio too, or Luxray. So I don't really highly recommend that. Ha! Here we go. Duh. Mismagius. Okay, so I've won a ton of battles with this Pokemon as well. This is going to come in the number 2 spot. Mismagius. You can darn near max it out, which means you'll darn near have those stats. It's only weak to Dark and Ghost, and if we go to the moves are insane. You want to run Hex, because Hex builds the energy up as much as possible. Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Dark Pulse. I run Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam. Shadow Ball charges quicker than Dazzling Gleam, but Dazzling Gleam is that Hariyama, that fighting counter move. And this Pokemon goes well in the second or your third slot of your PvP team. It's definitely an outlier when you throw it out. It's going to throw your opponent off guard. Ghost types are definitely interesting to deal with, so absolutely a must. I think this is great. The reason why you might not want to use Shadow Ball, well, actually, Shadow Ball is effective against fighting. The reason why you want to use Dark Pulse is Dark Pulse, it's not that very effective towards fighting. It charges up fast, but it's not that effective. So Hex, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, I think is the best moveset, but you can throw Dark Pulse. Don't be afraid to. And the last one's really going to be a toss-up, honestly. If we go down the list here, like, we have a bunch of, like, let's see, Bronzong, interesting Pokemon, Skuntank. Yep. I almost forgot about this one. This is a great Pokemon. It is only weak to ground, ladies and gentlemen. Its stats are pretty solid. It's got a huge stamina stat, and it's got a great move pool. I've actually won battles with this myself, and I haven't even fully powered it up. So Poison Jab's going to build more energy, and you can run anything. That's what I love about this Pokemon. Flamethrower builds up fast. Sludge Bomb's pretty good. Crunch will build up fast because it's a 3-bar charge move. This Pokemon is a trickster nightmare. You can really run anything you want with this, and it will take the hits, and it's only weak to ground, which is not a very common typing in the Ultra League. So there you guys have it. There's a bunch of Pokemon that you could definitely be using in Ultra League to absolutely obliterate your opponents. Let me know if there's any that I potentially missed, any that you like. Of course, I can't cover them all, but these are my tips. These are some of my Pokemon that I use that absolutely obliterate opponents with. But the key and the trick is to mold teams around with typings and see what works out best for you, because you can't just throw any of these 3 Pokemon in a battle party and expect to win immediately. You have to play around with it, see what works best for you, what moves work best for you. That is absolutely the trickiest part, but these Pokemon will get the job done. So smash that like button, comment down below, let me know what you guys think, let me know if this helped you out. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, be a part of the Fitz City fam. Always do videos like this, informational videos, get you guys prepared for PvP in those tournaments, because the Sylph League just released their first tournament for the Great League. But knowing about the other leagues as well will definitely help you out in choosing other Pokemon for other leagues as well. That's your boy Fitz City. I'm signing off. See you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.